Inside the heart of a single atom lies a secret so devastating it can vaporize an entire metropolis in less than 1/1,000,000th of a second. Right now, you are walking through a universe made of locked doors, and inside every single atom, a cosmic monster is sleeping. What if I told you that a piece of metal no larger than a grapefruit could rewrite human history and bend the laws of reality itself? This is not science fiction. It is the terrifying, elegant truth of how a bomb actually works. To understand the ultimate weapon, we must first look at the grand illusion of the universe. Everything around you, from the screen you are watching to the air you are breathing, is made of empty space. If you were to expand an atom to the size of a massive sports stadium, the nucleus would be nothing more than a tiny marble sitting precisely in the center. Yet, that microscopic marble holds 99.9% of the entire atom's mass. It is bound together by the strong nuclear force, the most powerful fundamental force in the entire known cosmos. This force acts like an invisible, ultra-strength cosmic glue, holding protons and neutrons together against their natural urge to fly apart. But what happens when you intentionally break that glue? What happens when you force the universe's tightest knot to untie? The secret to unlocking this monster lies in an unstable, heavy element known as uranium-235. Unlike regular elements, uranium-235 is remarkably fragile, sitting constantly on the very edge of existential collapse. Scientists do not need a massive hammer to break it. They only need a single, slow-moving subatomic particle called a neutron. When a stray neutron gently drifts into the nucleus of a uranium-235 atom, the nucleus swallows it. Instantly, the delicate balance is shattered, and the atom becomes violently unstable. It begins to stretch, vibrate, and deform like a drop of water suspended in zero gravity. Then, in a fraction of a millisecond, the strong nuclear force fails completely. The atom snaps into two smaller, lighter elements. But during this violent divorce, something magical and terrifying occurs. The total mass of the fragments left behind is slightly less than the mass of the original uranium atom. Where did that missing matter go? It was converted directly into pure, unadulterated energy, obeying Albert Einstein's famous equation E equals mc squared. Because the speed of light squared is a colossally huge number, even a microscopic speck of missing matter releases an ocean of raw power. When that single uranium atom splits, it does not just release raw energy. It also spits out 2 or 3 extra neutrons into the dark void. These stray neutrons fly outward at impossible speeds, hunting for neighboring uranium atoms. Each neutron strikes another atom, causing those atoms to split as well. Now, those atoms release even more energy and even more neutrons. 2 becomes 4, 4 becomes 8, 8 becomes 16, and within microseconds, the reaction cascades out of all human control. This is what scientists call an exponential chain reaction. To make an atomic bomb, you need a specific amount of this material packed tightly together, a threshold known as the critical mass. If the mass is too small, the neutrons escape into the air and the reaction simply fizzes out. But if you achieve supercritical mass, the chain reaction becomes a self-sustaining wildfire of subatomic destruction. If this deep dive into the hidden forces of the universe is blowing your mind right now, hit that like button and subscribe immediately to unlock our upcoming exclusive breakdowns of the world's most terrifying technologies. Humanity has engineered 2 primary methods to force this subatomic nightmare into reality. The first method is the gun-type assembly, which was the elegant yet primitive design used in the little boy bomb. Inside this weapon, scientists placed a conventional explosive charge at one end of a literal gun barrel. At the muzzle sat a target ring of uranium-235, while a subcritical slug of uranium rested at the breech. When the conventional explosive detonated, it fired the uranium slug down the barrel at blinding speeds. The moment the slug slammed into the target ring, they combined to form a supercritical mass. An internal initiator flooded the core with neutrons, and the city below vanished into history. The second, far more advanced method is the implosion-type design, utilized in the Fat Man bomb. This mechanism uses a central core made of plutonium-239, surrounded by a complex outer shell of conventional high explosives. These explosives are shaped perfectly into lenses, designed to direct their blast wave inward rather than outward. When triggered, the high explosives detonate with absolute microsecond precision. The inward-facing shockwave violently crushes the solid plutonium sphere, compressing it to a fraction of its original size. By forcing the atoms so incredibly close together, the density skyrockets, forcing the material into a supercritical state. The result is an explosion that is faster, cleaner, and vastly more destructive. As terrifying as atomic fission bombs are, they represent only the first chapter of nuclear horror. Modern arsenals rely on a much more frightening evolution, the thermonuclear weapon, or the hydrogen bomb. Fission bombs are limited by how much material you can pack together before it prematurely blows itself apart. But a hydrogen bomb uses a two-stage process that effectively mimics the burning core of our sun. The first stage of a hydrogen bomb is actually a standard fission atomic bomb. When this primary atomic bomb detonates, it generates temperatures reaching millions of degrees and floods the interior with intense X-rays. These X-rays travel ahead of the blast wave, compressing a secondary core filled with isotopes of hydrogen called deuterium and tritium. Under this unfathomable heat and pressure, the hydrogen nuclei are forced to slam together and fuse into heavier helium atoms. This process is called nuclear fusion. Instead of splitting a heavy atom apart, fusion forces light atoms together, releasing orders of magnitude more energy than fission ever could. A thermonuclear weapon uses the spark of an atomic bomb just to ignite a mini-sun on the surface of the Earth. There is theoretically no upper limit to how powerful a fusion bomb can be. When a nuclear weapon detonates, the destruction unfolds in distinct, terrifying phases. First comes the flash of light, brighter than 1,000 suns, which instantly blinds anyone looking within dozens of miles. Simultaneously, a thermal radiation wave sweeps outward at the speed of light, vaporizing flesh and igniting entire forests instantly. Next comes the blast wave, a solid wall of highly compressed air moving faster than the speed of sound. This overpressure wave flattens concrete buildings, tears bridges apart, and turns ordinary debris into deadly supersonic shrapnel. Finally, the rising fireball sucks up millions of tons of vaporized earth, creating the iconic, ominous mushroom cloud. This debris mixes with highly radioactive fission products, cooling into a deadly ash that drifts across continents. This is the nuclear fallout, silently poisoning the soil, the water, and the DNA of survivors for generations to come. We have unlocked the deepest secrets of the cosmos, only to fashion them into a tool of absolute planetary suicide. If a global conflict were to trigger the deployment of modern thermonuclear weapons today, do you believe human civilization possesses the resilience to survive the aftermath? Or have we permanently written our own final chapter? Share your thoughts in the comments below and let us start a conversation on whether this technology should ever exist.